Now, as we know, the San Jose Sharks had a horrible 2020-2024 season. That team was absolutely cooked from the very beginning to the very end. But you know what? They got rewarded. They're getting the first overall pick, and Macklin Celebrini, he's going to be joining the team here. 80 overall with high elite potential. That's what I'm going to have him at. We're at the beginning of the 2024-2025 season, so I had to simulate 1 year to get to this point. That's why you might be questioning some of the overalls. Like Zetterlund, 85 overall. Wenberg's going to be an 85. Even Will Smith's up to an 80. I simulated 1 year, and I really didn't expect him to get up to an 80 overall, but that's where he's going to be at. But this is where San Jose Sharks team's looking like. Clearly, this team needs a lot of help. They picked up Jake Walman from Detroit for absolutely nothing. Still haven't figured out how you pulled that off. Like, in all seriousness, how did you get Jake Walman for absolutely nothing? That makes literally no sense to me. And then when it comes to the goaltending, you got Vanacek and Blackwood, two goaltenders that are going to stop the puck from time to time. But this team is not going to be good. Let's get things clear right now. Season number 1 is going to be strictly rebuilding. This team right here is not winning a Stanley Cup in year number 1. A man can hope, but that's definitely not going to be happening. Now, similar to my rebuild for the Nashville Predators, how it's going to work is I'm allowed 3 moves per season. Whether that's trades or free agent signings, I'm only allowed to make 3 moves. Now, the first thing I think we should do here is give it some extensions. Zetterlund, you're an 85 overall, so I'd like to lock you down long term. I'm not doing 4 years at 7.7 million, so we actually might hold off on that deal. Clem Costin, if we can lock you down for a cheap price, I'm willing to do that. 2.6 million, I actually think that's a bit too expensive. And if I do 2 years, 3.6 million, okay, you're absolutely bugging. And Granlund, you're probably just not going to come back. I'll just trade you away early. So I take it back. We're not making any re-signings in year number 1, but we are going to make some big trades here. So you're about to witness Stick on the Ice make a trade here, and you might be thinking I've completely lost my mind. Granlund in a 7th round pick over to the Boston Bruins. We're getting Trent Frederick. He's actually a 1 overall decrease. Don't worry, this is all part of the plan. Now, what's the plan with Trent Frederick? Him and Juan Ruda are going to be sent over to the Carolina Hurricanes. We're getting Seth Jarvis and Kochetkov. Now, you might be wondering, why didn't I just use Granlund earlier? Well, I can't retain half of his salary because San Jose is already retaining money on Erik Karlsson and Tomas Hertl. Don't worry, we're finding a way to get this trade done. Kochetkov's the goaltender for the future, and Seth Jarvis, he's going to be a great piece to the top 6. So this is going to be the final move we make this season. It's going to be Logan Couture and a prospect over to the Anaheim Ducks. We're bringing in Mason McTavish here. Why Anaheim's interested in Logan Couture, I have no clue. Yeah, for some reason, Logan Couture fits their trade block, but since that doesn't make sense, I will include a prospect. And Mason McTavish, welcome to the team after we give you like a 7th round pick or something. But I would definitely say this is a good start for the San Jose Sharks here, bringing in a guy like Mason McTavish. We also brought in Seth Jarvis here, 2 guys that are going to help the team a ton, and we got our goaltender in Kochetkov. Okay, Anaheim, accept this deal. I didn't want to have to include a 3rd round pick, and the reason for that is I don't have any 3rd round picks, but here's 2 4th rounders. Mason McTavish, welcome to the team. Now let's just give you an extension. Now I have to thank the Anaheim Ducks here, because I actually don't have to give Mason McTavish an extension. He was already given one, and 4.6 million, that's probably better than what I would have got him for. So Mason McTavish, he's sticking around for the rest of the rebuild at 4.6 million, an absolute steal. So we've gone ahead and made all the trades we can, so let's simulate to the end of the season here. Before we do that though, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 70k by the end of the month, but more importantly, I got some big news. Hey guys, Stick on the Ice here. I got some big news regarding a PUCKDROP rebrand. So in case you missed my last video, IRL content is now going to be posted on PUCKDROP. That's going to be linked down below. But on top of that, I'm going to have a PUCKDROP Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. Those are on screen right now and linked down below. It's about time I start broadening out my audience from NHL gaming to just hockey content in general. Now, unlike before with PUCKDROP, I actually have videos recorded and I have a month's worth of content ready to go. So expect videos in the next coming days. So I've never been happier about a team doing so incredibly bad. The San Jose Sharks are one of the worst teams in the entire league, but there's one other team that did really bad this season, the Vegas Golden Knights. We happen to have their 1st round pick, and we have our 1st round pick. We might get 2 top 5 picks here. So San Jose, you're going to be absolutely cooking at the draft here. You're going to have 2 elite picks. Tyler Toffoli, you led the way this season, 76 points. I want you to completely ignore Macklin Celebrini only having 41 points. For some reason, right before I simulated the season, the coach took him out of the lineup. Don't know what that man was cooking. Of course, we want Macklin Celebrini in the lineup. Will Smith, 44 points here in 82 games. He was pretty solid. The team actually wasn't really that bad this season. A lot of these guys are going to get better. William Eklund up to an 87 overall. He's got an X factor. Seth Jarvis an 85. If we improve the defense, we'll be all right. Because Kochetkov, cut to the chase. Yeah, you're a great goaltender, 87 overall. The defense in front of you couldn't allow you to win. An 892 and a 365. Not much you can really do if I'm being honest. So yeah, I'm putting none of that blame on Kochetkov. There was a terrible defense in front of him, but we're going to address that. We have an all-Canadian matchup in the Stanley Cup final with the Toronto Maple Leafs sweeping the Winnipeg Jets. Now, I don't know what's more unrealistic. The fact that there was 3 Canadian teams making the conference finals, the Winnipeg Jets, Edmonton Oilers, and Toronto Maple Leafs, or the fact that Stick on the Ice actually remembered to take take out the Arizona Coyotes and replace them with the Utah Hockey Club. Like, I actually remember to do something for once. It's a miracle. You'll never see this again. But this is when it truly matters. We're heading to the draft lottery results. I want to see this team get the first overall pick. Unfortunately, that's not going to be happening. We're dropping from 2 to 3. Meanwhile, we are getting the 7th overall as well. So I'll take the 7th overall and the 3rd overall. However, if there is a franchise potential player projected number 1, we are trading. Okay, so just looking at the draft here, I think there's a very good chance that we're trading the 3rd overall pick because we don't need more playmakers here. Roger McQueen, he's a playmaker. Michael Misa, he's a playmaker. Jordan Gavin, I'm pretty sure he's a playmaker as well. We know who we could use, this two-way forward right here and this sniper who's also a gem. So I'm going to simulate through the first 2 picks, and then more likely we're going to trade from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 or something. So the moves we make at the draft here are also going to count toward moves for next season. But you know what? I think this is a big one for us. The 3rd overall in Zarland over to the LA Kings. We get the 5th overall and we get Mikey Anderson, a guy that's going to help our defense a ton. 85 overall, 26 years old, only getting paid $4.1 million. This is a no-brainer for us. So we're going to have the 5th overall and the 7th overall. We have 2 more moves to make after this. That was definitely the right decision. So with the 5th overall pick, we're going to select the guy that's projected 7th overall, and then with the 7th overall, we're going to select the guy projected 8th. As long as he doesn't get drafted here, it doesn't look like he will be. So with the 7th overall pick, we're going to get a gem here, medium league potential sniper. He's going to be an incredible player for us. Starting off as an 80 overall, no, this team just cooked at the draft. Okay, we're just going to keep on getting great prospects here. We're moving into the 2nd round, and we're going to get a 67 overall with medium top 4 potential. He could potentially develop in time for us, but he's also going to have a lot of trade value, so that's a great move. So when it comes to moves, we're going to start with Seth Jarvis here. We're going to be looking at $6.4 million for the next 4 years, and that's going to keep him around for the rest of the rebuild. Klim Kost, I'm pretty sure we can get you really cheap here. $2.3 million. You know what? I'm not even qualifying you as an RFA. You're going to be walking. Knizhov, I really like you as a defenseman for us. We're doing 4 years at $2.2 million. A great defensive defenseman, and you're a stick on the ice legend at this point. And then when it comes to every other player here, I think I'm going to let all of them walk. We have $24 million to work with in cap space. We can make some big time moves. I mean, I guess we do need a backup goaltender. Vanacek, $1.8 million. I don't really want to pay you that. Blackwood, where are you looking for? We could do 2 years at $1.1 million. So Mackenzie Blackwood, you'll be our backup for the next couple years, and then I'll bring back one of these RFAs. Okay, never mind. Blackwood said, I'm not signing with your team. So you know what? We're not bringing him back either. We signed one of the RFAs, and we're about to sign 2 RFAs. So when it comes to extensions, William Eklund's definitely gained one. We'll do $8.2 million for the next 3 years. Alex Wenberg, I'm actually going to trade you away here because your trade value is probably increased a ton. Mario Ferraro, you have high top 4 potential now. So yeah, I wouldn't mind keeping you around. Never mind, not at that asking price. So you're probably going to get traded as well. There might be a handful of trades this season. We're about to make some big moves. So this upcoming season is going to be a bit questionable for the team whether or not we're a good or bad team. So I don't really want to trade our 1st round pick for the 2026 season. For 2027 though, I'm definitely willing to trade that pick. So a 1st rounder and Mario Ferraro is going to be sent over to the Calgary Flames. We're going to try to get Rasmus Anderson and Lekker here. I don't think we can get both guys, but as long as we can get Rasmus Anderson, it's going to be a W trade. They're going to be saying no to that. It looks like we have to include a bit more, but I'm actually willing to do that. So I'll give you a 2nd round pick for 2026, and I think this should be enough to get Rasmus Anderson. That's a big time move for us. We got 2 elite defensemen now, but we still have to make another trade. So this is going to be our final move. We're trading some more draft capital away. It's going to be Wenberg, Wallman, and a 2nd round pick over to the Washington Capitals. Jacob Chikrin, welcome to the team here. You're going to be a great defenseman for us. You're going to help us a ton here. I'm trading way too many draft picks away. But then again, we don't really have too much time to rebuild. We only have 4 more seasons to win a Stanley Cup because of course it's a 5-year rebuild. But yeah, trading all these draft picks away, probably not the move here. But hey, we got to win a Stanley Cup right now, and this is definitely the move. I've given you way too much and you're still saying no. So yeah, Jacob Chikrin, never mind, you're not coming to this team. Bo Byram, on the other hand, is it going to be possible to pull off a deal like this? Wenberg, Wallman, and a 2nd round pick over to Buffalo. They're going to say no. I'll include those 2 other picks I had in the deal before, and if we can somehow get this done, I'll definitely do it. So here's a 4th and 5th rounder as well. Is this going to be enough to get Bo Byram? They're going to say no to that deal, but don't worry, I have a backup plan, and it's still with the Buffalo Sabres here. This is the 3rd different defense we're trying to bring to the team here, but Owen Power, I wouldn't be against having you on this team. So the exact same trade for Owen Power. Is this going to be enough? Welcome to the team, man. The San Jose Sharks have made some big time moves here, and this team's ready to compete. So if I'm going through the effort of trading for Rasmus Anderson, obviously I'm going to keep him on this team, and we're going to be looking at 7.5 for the next 4 years, a pretty solid contract for him. So heading into year 2, we have a very difficult decision to make. Do I want Will Smith on the first line, or do I want Celebrini? Now the obvious answer is Celebrini because he's an 85 overall, he has high elite potential. Obviously we want him getting a bunch of minutes. However, Celebrini doesn't have quite the best fit on the first line. Meanwhile, Will Smith, a near perfect fit here, and Celebrini has a really good fit on the 2nd line. So I think it makes more sense just to have Celebrini play on the 2nd line. Yes, he's a better player and should play ahead of Will Smith, but when it comes to line fits, this makes way more sense. Bottom 6 is definitely an upgrade from what we saw last season. Everyone's got great fits here. Ty Dellandrea, you're probably going to be sticking around for the rest of the rebuild, especially if we can sign you for a cheap deal. When it comes to the defense, massive upgrade. We got Mikey Anderson here. We got Owen Power. We have Rasmus Anderson. Anderson. Knishov's going to be holding it down the second pairing as well. He's giving them a +2 boost, and then the bottom pairing, that's going to be getting a +2 as well. And to cap it all off, the goaltending is looking fantastic. 87 overall, Kochetkov. You got a defense in front of you this season. I'm expecting this team to do big things. But if I were to be concerned about one thing, I think it would be the goal scoring for this team. I'm not too sure if we have any elite goal scorers that can really carry the way. Yeah, we got Tyler Toffoli, and we do have Seth Jarvis, but technically he's a two-way forward and not a sniper. This season's going to be very interesting for the San Jose Sharks. I could definitely see us making the playoffs, and I could definitely see us missing. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, season number 2 is definitely going according to plan for the San Jose Sharks. A 34-26-3 record. We're staying 11th in the entire league. We're in the playoffs right now. Things are looking good. But on top of that, a lot of the young guys are showing a lot of great potential here. Eklund's picking up 63 points. Seth Jarvis 60. Tyler Toffoli's got 57. Mason McTavish 55. Celebrini 52. Will Smith 51. The boys are looking great here. Celebrini up to an 87 overall. You'll love to see it. Will Smith up to an 84. The young guys continue to improve and things are looking great for us. And then when it comes to goaltending, Kochetkov, it's good to see you posting great numbers here. 28 wins, 2 shots, and 910 and 292 so far. Although we can't make any trades here, I think this team's definitely going to be able to make some noise in the playoffs. Now, after the trade deadline, this team looked absolutely amazing, finishing with a 49-30-3 record. We were nearly unstoppable after the trade deadline. There was no teams that could compete with us. Tyler Toffoli, 92 points to finish the season. William Eklund, 90 points. Seth Jarvis, 84. Look at all the guys above a point a game here. And then when it comes to that second line, Macklin Celebrini picking up 68 points. Mason McTavish, he's picking up 25. This team's looking great right now. And one of our young rookies jumping into the lineup here, 39 points, including 27 goals. Bro is an absolute sniper. I mean, technically he is a sniper, but yeah, he's picking up goals out here and you'll love to see it. When it comes to the guy that keeps pucks out of the net, that's Kochetkov. 43 wins here, 3 shots, a 914 to 279. So this team's rolling on all cylinders right now. I don't think anyone can stop us. And we got the Anaheim Ducks in the first round. Ain't no way this team just completed their rebuild. We're taking them out in 5 games max. So I told you it was going to be 5 games max. We have a 3-1 series lead and we're closing it out in game 5 here. We all knew this was happening. The defense has been spectacular so far, and honestly I thought that was going to be one of our weak points. So we're moving on to the second round, and this is where things get real. We have the Edmonton Oilers to take on, and they have Connor McDavid, and what more do you really need? If you have Connor McDavid, you're immediately competing for a Stanley Cup. Okay, I know we have a great offense here, but the fact that we were able to shut down Connor McDavid in the Edmonton Oilers is wild. The San Jose Sharks are here, and we're building the dynasty. So we swept the Edmonton Oilers. We're 8-1 in the postseason. Nobody can compete with us, but now we have to take on the Nashville Predators in the conference finals. All I'm going to say is we can't lose to the Nashville Predators. There's 32 different NHL teams, 31 if you're not counting the San Jose Sharks. I'm okay with losing to the 30 other teams, not the Nashville Predators. I will lose to any team except for Nashville, and there's a very good reason for that. Watch my last rebuild. So we're turning the face cam on. Things are getting serious here. I am not losing to the Nashville Predators. This is not happening. This cannot happen right now. If Nashville wins the Stanley Cup here, I'm going to lose my mind. But you know what? That's not happening. We're making a 3-1 series comeback. So Macklin Celebrini, you're slowly turning into that elite player, and I need you to step up here when it matters most. We're allowing the first 2 goals of the game here. Celebrini's picking up 1 the second. I need you to step up when it matters most here. In the third period, we're allowing 2 more goals. That didn't just happen. We didn't lose to the Nashville Predators, and that team make it to the Stanley Cup final in year number 2 here. Now, I'm not really too sure if I should be happy or sad that the Nashville Predators lost, because they're going to lose to the Detroit Red Wings here. But if they won, that means Luke Evangelista and Phil Tomasino would both be Stanley Cup champions, and I would definitely be on board for that. Now, when it comes to the postseason scoring for us, it was really good. Macklin Celebrini, 15 points here. Seth Jarvis picking up 15. Mason McTavish, 13. The scoring was good, no question about it. The defense just wasn't quite good enough. I mean, even that was good. Kochetkov, 9 wins here, a 920 and a 260. It just wasn't our year, plain and simple. But we don't really have to worry here because the entire team's coming back. I'm re-signing everyone. We're running it back, and with everyone getting better, we should be in a better spot. But you know what? We really don't have to worry here because everyone's going to be returned to the team. And before we even get to the re-sign phase, let's start giving out contracts. Delandria, you were incredible here, so I'll give you 2.8 for the next 3 years. You're a great player for us. Bordeloux's going to be sticking around as well. We're going to do 2.5 for the next 3 years. He's a good bottom 6 player, and I like that contract. This defenseman right here is actually turned out to be a really good defenseman for us, so I'm definitely keeping him around. 2.8 million for the next 3 years. And I think that really is probably going to be the only deals we do here. I mean, Cardwell, I guess I could give you a deal as well. Where are you looking for? We'll do 3 years at 800K on a 2-way contract. Why not? So as we all know, I basically have no draft picks here, but with the 222nd overall, can we get something good? Never mind 70 potential. I mean, to be fair, I think we all saw that coming. Also, apparently rumors are flying around that Rasmus Anderson's on the trade block. He is definitely not on the trade block. That is coming from the source himself. He's not on the trade block. He is not getting traded. Unless I could trade him straight up for Cale Makar, then obviously I would do that, but that's probably not going to happen. So when it comes to the re-sign phase, I'm signing a handful of guys to 2-way contracts. If you're not accepting a 2-way contract, contract, you're not going to be joining this team. But everyone else here, they're all going to be walking. So there's only one guy right now that needs an extension. That's going to be Kochetkov. He's up to an 89 overall, and this deal makes a lot of sense for us. $5.7 million for the next 3 years. What a steal. Now, in a normal universe, Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith would both need extensions heading into next season, but I accidentally gave them an extra year on their contract because I had to simulate that very first season, the 2023-2024 season. I gave them 4 years on their entry-level contract just to make all the contracts work. However, I didn't factor in that neither of them would play any games, so it wouldn't use up 1 year on their contract, so they actually have an extra year on their rookie deal. So what we're going to do for next season is I have to have $16 million in spare cap space, and then we're going to pretend that $8 million goes to Celebrini and $8 million goes to Will Smith. That's basically just going to prevent me from adding $16 million more in players. So the San Jose Sharks aren't doing too many moves here, but one of them will be trading Tyler Toffoli away. He was great for us last season, but he's 34 years old, and I don't trust him on not declining. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at the end of next season he's dropped down to like an 82 overall, so I want to trade him right now. We're going to bring in Patrick Laine. He's going to be a great goal scorer for us. He can play some top 6 minutes. On top of getting Patrick Laine, we're also going to be getting a second round pick here, so that's definitely worth it. Now, we still have $18 million in cap space here, so if we do want to sign one player, we can definitely do that. If we actually want to, we could probably sign 2 guys. So we're going to head into free agency, see who's available. Brad Marchand, honestly, that would be a very interesting pickup. We bring him on the team for 1 season. Actually, I kind of like that idea. So Brad Marchand will give you $8.4 million for 1 season. And then Cam Fowler, I'll find a spot for you on this team as well. We'll do $7.2 million for 1 year. So we're going to be using all 3 moves up before we even get to the trade deadline. But you know what? They're 3 amazing moves, and this team's set for a Stanley Cup. So heading into year number 3, the team's looking absolutely amazing. Will Smith, Eklund, and Patrick Laine, Seth Jarvis, Celebrini, Mason McTavish. This team's looking great. The bottom 6 is absolutely phenomenal here. 83, 85, 85 with superstar X factors. It's great. When it comes to the defense, we're going to see Owen Power and Rasmus Anderson hold it down the first pairing. Cam Fowler and Mikey Anderson on the second. The third pairing is going to see 2 great young defensemen here, a 28-year-old and a 24-year-old. They're going to hold it down. Knizhov's going to be that guy for us. Meanwhile, Kochetkov, 89 overall, exact elite potential now. We just gave him a bag, but it wasn't an expensive bag, only about $5 million. Yeah, this team's winning a Stanley Cup this season, no question about it. The only question I have is, do I put Celebrini on that top line? We get a +4 here and a +1 here, but if we do this, we have a bit more depth. So do I spread out the love a little bit, or do I just put the top players on the top line? You know what, Celebrini, you deserve to be on that top line, so that's where you're going to play this season. Will Smith, I'm going to move you down to the second line. I know you're going to be a beast here, no doubt about it. Now, in 3 short years, the San Jose Sharks have quickly become the best team in the NHL. A 44, 13, and 5 record at the trade deadline. We're unstoppable. Just taking a look at the scoring here, Macklin Celebrini, what a move it was putting you on the first line. 76 points so far, 20 goals, 56 assists. Patrick Laine, you were an incredible pickup, 40 goals so far. Brad Marchand, we paid you a bag, but you know what? You're living up to the hype here. This entire team's just looking amazing right now. Luke's 51 points so far, 28 goals, 23 assists. You're that guy, no question about it. And then when it comes to goaltending, Kochetkov, I know for a fact you're looking great. 36 wins, 3 shots, a 924 and a 235. Keep this up and we might have a 60-win season under our belts. But as we know, we can't make any trades here because we've already made all of our moves, but we've won 44 games so far. Why would I ever change anything up? So season 3 is wrapping up with the San Jose Sharks at the top of the league, a 54-21-7 record. The team's looking incredible. Like, there's no weaknesses here whatsoever. Celebrini's going to be well over a point a game, 93 points here. Patrick Laine 83, but he only picked up 44 goals. Considering you had 40 at the trade deadline, that's not the greatest sign. Eklund was great this season. Marchand was great this season, but this is going to be his only season with the team. As long as he steps up in the postseason, we'll be all right. And this team should be able to win a Stanley Cup. Like, we have no weaknesses across the board. Goaltending is great. Defense is great. Offense is great. The only thing that's going to stop us is ourselves. We got the Minnesota Wild in the first round. I'm not afraid of this team. All right, San Jose, what are we doing here? Kaprizov scoring the first goal in the first period. We're going to be picking up a couple goals in the second here, 3 goals to be exact, but Joel Eriksson next picking up another one from the Minnesota Wild. It's a 1-goal game entering the third period, and what's going to happen here? All right, we're going to win this one. This is game 5. We have to win game 6, and we have to win game 7. We were down 3-1 in the series. San Jose, you better not be choking here. So here we go, game number 6 here. We're picking up 3 goals in the first period. We had a 4-0 lead at one point, so we're not going to be choking this one. 6 goals is going to be more than enough. So we were able to score 11 goals in our last 2 games, but this is when it really matters. Game 7 for all the marbles. Who's going to make it to the second round here? Seth Jarvis is going to be picking up a goal in the first period. It's going to be a big goal scorer. Okay, Kevin Labanc just picked up 3 goals in the second period. No way we're losing because Kevin Labanc picked up 3 goals in the second period. That didn't happen. We lost in game 7 of the first round to a wildcard team because Kevin Labanc, of all players, picked up 3 goals in the second period. I can't believe that just happened. We are not going out like that. This was probably our best chance to win because this is the best team we're going to have here. Cam Fowler's not going to return. Marchand's not going to return to the team. That is a tough look. So Patrick Laine, you're the best player by far in the postseason. Offensively, we were a really good team. Defensively, that's what fell apart here. Kochetkov, off, you had an 896 and a 332. You even have a superstar X Factor now, a 90 overall. Yeah, you were by far the best trade we've made so far today. But you know what? If we don't win a Stanley Cup, it means nothing. Now, we only had 2 picks in the draft here, and we didn't get anything notable. But the re-sign phase is going to hurt a lot here because we're going to lose some valuable pieces. He's off the rip here. Brad Marchand, he's leaving the team. Cam Fowler, he's leaving the team. Luke Kunin, leaving the team. We have this young player right here, 23 years old. If we can sign him for cheap, he'll be sticking around here. 800K. Without a doubt, he's going to be playing for this team in the future. So we have 25 million when it comes to extension dollars. Luke's, of course, I'm going to keep you around here. We're going to do 4.5 million for the next 3 years. On top of us having 25 million dollars in extension dollars, we currently have 25 million dollars in cap space for this season. But as we know, 16 million of that I can't use because that should have gone to Will Smith and that should have gone to Celebrini. So in reality, we have $9 million to work with here. We have $9 million to work with, and that means we're going to be allowed to sign one player here. I'm not really too sure who it's going to be. Lawson Crouse at $4 million honestly wouldn't be too bad. He can play some bottom 6 minutes for us. He's only 30 years old, so he's not really going to be declining. Arturi Lehkonen could also be a nice pickup. Whoever fits on the bottom 6 I'll bring to the team. Neither of these guys fit there. That's definitely not ideal for us. At this point, if I find somebody that can play on the bottom 6, that's who I'm going to bring to the team here. And I just can't seem to find any bottom 6 players. Okay, this is actually a bit wild. Does nobody fit on our bottom 6? Who does? Ross Colton. I guess Ross Colton's going to be that guy for us. So Ross Colton, I'll give you 3.2 million for this season right now. And then I guess the other guy we could bring to the team for $2 million is going to be Luster-Rain, and we're going to do 2.3 for 1 season. So this is going to be our 2 free agent signings. I don't think we're going to make a trade here. I think we're just going to stick with the team we have because at the end of the day, we were first in the entire league last season. We won't talk about what happened in the postseason, but all you have to know is we're an elite team. So we're making virtually no changes heading into this upcoming season. Celebrini, William Eklund, and Patrick Laine are going to be on the top line. Luke's, Will Smith, and Mason McTavish are going to hold it down in the second. The bottom 6 is still looking great here. The defensive core is still looking great. And then when it comes to goaltending, surprise, surprise, that's looking great. Kochetkov, 91 overall with the superstar X Factor. So we have the assets. If we want to make a trade at the deadline, we'll be able to do that. And we have 1 move left available here, so that could be 1 more trade. But if the team's looking fantastic, then I don't want to mess anything up here. So we're at the trade deadline. The San Jose Sharks are looking amazing. We're 3rd in the entire league with a 38-19-7 record. The offense is great for this team. The defense is great. But are we really surprised at any of those stats? Like Macklin Celebrini, 76 points so far. Patrick Laine, he's got 42 goals, looking absolutely amazing. Eklund's great. Will Smith is great, but he's -2, so that's a bit concerning. When it comes to goaltending, Kochetkov, just keep on doing your thing here. Now, we technically could make 1 trade here, and barring what's available, I think we can make a move. All right, so this is going to be the move we pull off here. Luster-Rain and a 2nd-round pick over to the Washington Capitals, and we're getting Alexander Ovechkin at 50% retained here. Washington knows this is a steal because of course it is. I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks for Jared McCann, and we've already made our 3 moves here, so that's what we're going to be ending with. I got scammed. I'm assuming Alexander Ovechkin's on our team right now. We are going to pray that Alexander Ovechkin's on this team. If he's not, we got absolutely scammed. Okay, yeah, he's here. Do we still have that 2nd-round pick, by the way? No, we don't. Okay, so the trade did go through. I thought we got scammed. So with the acquisition of Alexander Ovechkin, this is what our first line's going to be looking like. Celebrini, Lukes, and Ovi. And then it's going to be William Eklund, Will Smith, and Patrick Laine on the 2nd line. A +5 boost on our top lines. This team's destined for success. So with the season coming to a close here, of course, the San Jose Sharks are going to be at the top of the league, 3rd with a 51-23-8 record. Since acquiring Ovi, our offense has been even better. Like to finish out the season, Celebrini, 95 points, William Eklund, 90. But you know what? I really want to know what Ovi did since joining the team here. I think he played some big moments for us. 12 goals in 18 games, 4 assists, 16 points. Bro is definitely putting the puck in the back of the net at 42 years old. How many goals does he have in his career right now? 1,018. Yeah, so he's pretty good still. But it doesn't matter how good you've been during the regular season. You need to be great in the postseason. And Kochetkov, I'm looking at you. I need you to have a historic postseason. 40 wins, 3 shots, and 914 to 272. Last season, we're not going to talk about what happened. We're not going to dwell on the past here. We're just going to focus on the future. And that's the Vancouver Canucks in the 1st round. So we've split the series so far with the Vancouver Canucks. We're heading into Game 5, and Game 5 is going to be the biggest game of the series. We got shut out. Why does this always happen? So here we go. We got Game 6 elimination. The San Jose Sharks taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Goals are going to be exchanged in the 1st period. In the 2nd, we're going to keep on exchanging goals. This is not a great sign. We got to step up in the 3rd period when it matters most. And Ty Dellandrea, he's going to be saving the day for us. We're forcing Game 7. So we won 51 games this season. The team's looking absolutely elite. But that means nothing if we can't get out of the 1st round here. The 3rd period is going to decide Game 7. Why is the 3rd period deciding Game 7? Alright, so we're going to need overtime here because apparently the San Jose Sharks team, who has the best offense in the NHL, cannot score here. Thankfully, Will Smith's going to find the back of the net. We're off to the 2nd round. But this series should not have been this close. So we just snuck past the Vancouver Canucks in the 1st round. So I'm very concerned moving into for the second round to take on the Edmonton Oilers. Like, if we can't beat Vancouver, no way we're beating Edmonton. So after dropping the first 2 games against the Edmonton Oilers, we're going to respond in games 3 and games 4. We're winning back-to-back. We make it 3 straight here, 8-1. Why am I not surprised? Alright, let's make the comeback once again here. So we got game 6 in front of us here. The San Jose Sharks taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Ovi's picking up a big goal to start this game off. However, Edmonton's immediately responding here. We're entering the 3rd period in a tie game, and when push came to shove, we're going to be able to score another goal here, and we're moving on to game 7 once again. So we've won in game 7 once before. It's time to do it again here. We're tied after the 1st period, and of course, we're tied after the 2nd. Okay, if we score an overtime winner to win this series, then it's just rigged. There is no way we're always scoring OT winners here. This makes no sense. Who's going to be scoring the OT winner? Frederick Gaudreau. We lost to Frederick Gaudreau of all players. Also, I guess Gaudreau and JVR are just the most valuable players of all time, because in the past 2 games, those are the only guys that have scored for Edmonton. I mean, you have these guys down here, obviously, but I mean, JVR and Gaudreau, back-to-back goals and back-to-back games for these guys. This is how we're losing. So we have one more season to win with the San Jose Sharks. It's been disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. Even though we've been one of the top teams in the NHL, we have to find a way to close out in the postseason. Also, Toronto just won, so I'm a bit more annoyed just because of that. When it comes to our postseason scoring, honestly, it wasn't really that bad. Okay, never mind. Yes, it was. Celebrini -5, Ovi -5, Patrick Laine -2, Owen Power -7. Yeah, this team sucked. Goaltending wise, we were cooked. Okay, yeah, we have to change a lot of things. I mean, not a lot of things. We have a very good core here, but yeah, the team has to step up in the playoffs once in a while. Now, before we get to the re-sign phase, before the salary cap goes up, before anything happens here, Celebrini, here's $9 million for the next 4, and then Will Smith, I know you need to deal as well, and where are you going to be looking for? We can do something similar to that. How about 8.5 for the next 3? We got the big time players locked down here. We're going to have a bit of money to work with in free agency. I think it's about time we bring in another superstar. So in our final draft, we're not going to get any super valuable prospects. The first player we got did have medium top 6 potential, but it's not like we're getting any medium elite potential players that are going to have a ton of trade value, which we can capitalize on. Now, I'm not going to lie, Ross Colton, you actually played a good role in the team last season, so I'll keep you around. We'll do $2.5 million for the next 3 years. And then when it comes to everyone else here, they're being signed to 2-way contracts. Alright, so since this is the final year to win, we got to go all in. Semenoff, you really haven't improved as much as I thought you would. You're only an 80 overall here, so I'm going to package you along with the 1st round pick over to the Calgary Flames. We're going to get Gabriel Faith. He's an 86 overall already. He's going to be a great player for the team here, so I'm going to send this package over. Okay, the fact that Calgary just said no to that is wild. I'm not really sure who you're interested in when it comes to players. I'll give you some prospects though. I'll give you this guy right here, and this better be enough. You are absolutely finessing us in a deal like this. So after that one trade, this is the team we're rolling with. Celebrini, William Eklund, Patrick Laine, Lukes, Will Smith, Mason McTavish, Delandria, Faith, Seth Jarvis, and then when it comes to the 4th line, we got Bistead, we got Ross Colton, and we got Bordelou. 3 great players for the 4th line. They're going to be fantastic for us. When it comes to the defense, it's looking the exact same, except Sam Dickinson's now going to play some 1st pairing minutes for us. Mikey Anderson, you're going to be moving down to the 2nd pairing. And then when it comes to goaltending, you already know what that is. We got Kochetkov here. So this is our final season to win a Stanley Cup. We're going to stop in at the trade deadline, make 1 or 2 trades, and then we're going to bring home a Stanley Cup at the end of the season. This is the last chance. Now I have absolutely nothing to say with the San Jose Sharks. What happened to this team? What happened to the greatness we used to show? 10th in the entire league, a 35-24-4 record. What are y'all doing this season? Like, we were basically the exact same team as last season. Will Smith is leading the team. Okay, that's the problem immediately. Celebrini, you're washed here. Patrick Laine, you're washed. Did you decline overall? No, you didn't. This team just decided not to perform this season. Goaltending has been absolutely abysmal. What happened? Like, what really happened here? All right, we're trading for a defenseman. I mean, that was pretty clear. Jamie Drysdale, unfortunately, you're actually not the guy. We need a defensive defenseman here. Dougie Hamilton, you might be better defensively. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to be trading one of our defensemen away, a prospect and a 2nd round pick over to the Islanders. We're bringing Ryan Lindgren onto the team. He's a defensive defenseman. He can't make our defense worse here, so we're going to bring him onto the team. I'll throw a 3rd rounder in this deal. We're getting that trade done. Now, it's probably going to be the only trade we do here because we basically have no assets left. So last season, when we had one of the best defenses in the entire league, we had Mikey Anderson with Rasmus Anderson, and then we had Owen Power with Sam Dickinson. So we're going back to that, and Ryan Lindgren, you're going to play with Knizhov here. This is going to be a lockdown 3rd pairing. The defense has to be better from here on out. So to close out the year, the San Jose Sharks have been one of the best teams in the NHL. 4th in the entire league, a 48-28-6 record. This team's back. I was very concerned at the trade deadline, but we finally figured it out here. Celebrini is going to be leading the way here with 88 points. Will Smith's picking up 86. 76. Luke's is picking up 71. Laine's got 71. Seth Jarvis 71. We have the best offense by far here. The defense is the real question mark. But ever since we brought in Ryan Lindgren, this team's completely turned it around, and I think we might be able to win a Stanley Cup. By rights, we should have won at least 3 Stanley Cups by now, but oh man, we have to take on the Vancouver Canucks in the first round. I am so incredibly concerned now. I was fine with taking on any other team in the NHL. I don't want to take on the Vancouver Canucks. We've seen what that team can do to us. Now the boys are looking good so far. A 3-1 series lead against the Vancouver Canucks, looking to close out in game number 5 here. 5 goals including a shutout. Yeah, this team's not messing around anymore. So we're on a 4-game winning streak right now. We just took down the Vancouver Canucks, but now it's time for our rematch. We have the Edmonton Oilers in the second round here. If we lose to this team because Connor McDavid goes crazy, I can live with that, but I'm not losing to Frederick Gaudreau, and I'm not losing to JVR again. Okay, if we don't win a Stanley Cup, it's rigged. 8 games in a row we've won. We've won 8 games in a row right now. We got to keep this momentum going. So we're going to continue into the conference finals with another Canadian team. If it's all Canadian teams, we might be all right here. 12 games in a row. It's a 12-game winning streak for the San Jose Sharks. Let's cap it off against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're taking on only Canadian teams here. Let's keep on rolling. It looks like the winning streak's going to end at 13 games here, but you know what? We're just going to start a new one here. So we've split the series 2 games apiece so far. Game 5 is going to be huge. Who is taking game 5? It looks like it's going to be the San Jose Sharks. Cap it off in game 6 with a Stanley Cup to end this video. It took us 5 years, but here we are, Stanley Cup champs. Also, how do we take on all Canadian teams in the playoffs? Like, that makes no sense. Started with Vancouver, moved on to Edmonton, took on Winnipeg, and then once we took on Winnipeg, I knew we were going to see Toronto in the Stanley Cup final, and we took them down. Patrick Laine, he's going to lead the way here, 21 points. Will Smith's right behind him. He's got 21 as well. Celebrini, a bit of a disappointing postseason run, only 17 points from you, but hey, we're Stanley Cup champions. What do I really care about? And goaltending, spectacular from Kochetkov. 16 wins, 3 shots, a 941, a 206. That's the big difference between last season and this season. Kochetkov was that guy when the postseason came around. So the San Jose Sharks are Stanley Cup champions. The rebuild's complete for them. They actually had a really good postseason run. Like, they won 13 games in a row at one point, and then they capped it off with the Stanley Cup. Too bad this video is not going any longer, because I think we could have built a dynasty with this team.